Hey guys, Dan Heilman back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about what is going on in the market. We're going to talk about a couple altcoins that are some potential buys. We're going to talk about the crypto summit happening tomorrow. What could potentially happen from that? All right, let's go. So we'll start with Bitcoin, and we've seen a lot of volatility in the last couple of days here. We historically made the very first actual God candle of $10,000, 100, and then it turned directly around and went down about 9,300. So that was basically the mention of the crypto reserve, and then the tariff war started basically the day after. Big pump, big dump, and yeah, so we've retested this very low. There is still, unfortunately, a little bit of a CME gap right here, down at 78,000 to 77,900. So this is a little bit of a gap that could potentially fill in the worst case. Doesn't have to fill now, could fill later. So it could fill in the bear market, and we could come back down to, I don't know, 70,000-ish range. So again, if we go look at over here on the logarithmic chart, I am predicting something like a 218,000 Bitcoin and then a drop to 70,000, maybe even potentially down to 50,000, but I wouldn't hold my breath for that. There's a statistic that basically says the price at election day on November 5th is never gone below ever again historically. Now, we did hit an all-time high sooner before the halving this time, so that could affect it. So we don't know. Long story short, we don't know. What happens with adoption? What happens with the strategic reserve? If they're saying that they're going to buy 1 million Bitcoin over the next 4 years, then we may never revisit these prices, right? So another scenario is something like an adoption S-curve where you're going this way, and then you kind of just let me just do it a little bit smaller, but you're going this way, and then now you get the adoption S-curve, and then you get something like that, right? So there is the potential for something like that as well, but we shall see what happens. Now we have the very first crypto summit happening tomorrow. Now, a lot of different things can happen. There's rumors that there's going to be no capital gains tax on cryptocurrencies, potentially maybe if you held them over a year, or I don't know if they're going to do short-term, long-term, how they're going to do that. And I don't know if it's going to be American cryptos only. So that's stuff like Sui, Litecoin, Solana, Bitcoin. I think they're considering ADA, XRP, XLM, HBAR. I think Trump, obviously, and Dogecoin, and I'm not sure what else. So there's some coins potentially being in there. The ones that they mentioned specifically was Solana, XRP, and ADA were mentioned specifically for the announcement for the reserve. Now, there's been some recent news that people have said that Bitcoin will be treated differently. Michael Saylor is going to be at this event tomorrow. So I don't know if this is going to be a sell the news event or if this is going to be just a massive pump event. I guess one thing is for sure, plan for massive volatility. So depending on what gets said, we could just rocket and start retesting all-time highs, or I think it's more important for us to test this 100K level right here. If we can get above that, I think that's going to be quite strong, but I have a feeling that we might see something like a 100K retest, then maybe a retest back down, then back up, hit all-time highs, reject off them, and then go back up, something like that's possible. Now, if it ends up being not amazing news or something like that, we could potentially also see the price dump, fill the CME gap, and then rocket back up. I don't think this is anywhere near the end of the bull market. I'm not worried about the price going anywhere below 73,000-ish. So if you are using leverage, make sure you have enough margin in your account to not get liquidated. There will be some very, very big volatility coming tomorrow. Now, I do have some trades open. Let's go through what I got open. I just opened an ENS trade. I'll talk about ENS and Litecoin specifically. Some other coins as well. I think Solana is a good buy as well, but I picked up some TON coin because it was just really low. I think I got it like right about $3 is my entry price. I have a stop loss pretty close. If I'm up on trades now, I'm putting my stop loss in the profit. You know, if I only make a couple dollars from a trade, it's way better than losing a lot, right? So for me lately, the goal of trading is to not lose a lot of money, just, you know, get some small wins in here. I'm not trying to make $1 million on these trades. I'm really bullish on ENS. I'll show that. I just opened that trade. Solana, I have a nice trade that I'm up about 78%, 79% with. I have my stop loss in the profit down here. My entry was about $136. I'll leave this open because there is, again, the potential for a drop tomorrow, depending on what's happening, right, with this crypto summit. So we could announce some amazing things, or it could be kind of a nothing burger and people just sell the news. There's been a lot of sell the news events lately. So keep that in mind. I have a SUI trade open, opened it right here about 2.4. Wish I got it in a little bit lower, but that's okay. We're up a decent amount. Not huge amount of money in these trades. So, you know, margin, I'm only, I guess I'll just say I'm about a $3,000 trade. I opened a Tau trade that was doing really well. Now it's pulling back a little bit. I think Tau is a good trade to take. I'll show you that as well. Litecoin, I think, is a good trade right now. I'm down a decent chunk on Litecoin because I had a pretty bad entry. I added the whole way down, but it didn't quite come back as much. And it's interesting because Litecoin is an American-made crypto. It is basically one of the only things that is similar to Bitcoin, can even compete with Bitcoin. So I think it's a really interesting option. Plus there's an ETF and the price has been suppressed. There's been a lot of shorts put on Litecoin for this whole area here to keep the price low. And this is one of the only ones that hasn't really moved back up to the top of the channel. So I'm really bullish on this one. And then of course I have my Bitcoin trade open. My entry point was about 89. It was a lot higher. My entry point was like 90 or something. And then I added as we went down. So that's where we're at now. And I have another limit order down here. I did get rid of a little of my position because I wasn't sure if we were going to pull back. And then I ended up buying back into that position just a little bit higher, but not much higher. So that's what I got going on. If you want to try Bitunix, I have a link below. Now let's go look at the charts for some of these altcoins and Bitcoin and kind of predict where we think we're going here. So talked about Bitcoin, what my potential thoughts are on that one. Now let's talk about Litecoin. So you can see we've been trading in this zone for quite some time now. We've been just trading this channel. Every time we get to the bottom of this channel, we usually rocket right back up to the top of this channel almost every time, right? So this was the only time we didn't go back up, but we still had a 34% pump, a little bit of a drop to a higher low, and then a big pump. Now we had this one here. This looks very similar to something I want to show you, by the way. So if we go over here and we look at Bitcoin, this looks very similar to this, right? So we had one absolute low here below the channel, right? So here's like the channel here, and we had one big low, basically ended up being a head and shoulders of sorts, and then back out. So this looks very similar to what I see over here, where we had this channel testing, we had one big low, one final low down, and then another rocket out of here. So this is a potential that we could see for Litecoin. And I think Litecoin definitely will at least go to 400, at least 400 bucks. We'll see at least 400. I think we will see a new all-time high, especially if we get an ETF approved. Now, don't forget, Litecoin, I have a video on Litecoin if you want to see like a deep dive video, the technology behind it, but there's only 84 million Litecoin. So it's very similar to Bitcoin in that aspect. It also has, you know, proof of work, and it's fast, it's cheap. So Litecoin is a strong competitor of Bitcoin. Now, I'm not saying it's going to pass Bitcoin or anything like that. I think that Litecoin eventually could potentially reach number 2 or top 5 status just because of its scarcity, its properties. It is the most used currency literally from transactions ever, and it has been that way for quite some time. So a lot of people use Litecoin to move their money to and from exchanges, etc. So I think it's a very strong potential, and I think right now just all these shorts have been holding it down, but it does look similar to this right here, right? So we had this big retest, and then we kind of consolidated for, you know, 4 or 5 days here. We tried to break out. You can see the candles look very similar to this right here, right? So potentially soon, I think we'll see another run up to the top of this channel. If we break this channel, I think we will easily go to, let me go back to the old bull market here. I think we'll easily come up to you know, this range up in here, $180. If we durably break above this 150, I think we'll come up to 180, 190, and then eventually, obviously, retest all-time highs. Now, let's talk about another coin that I'm super bullish on, ENS. ENS has been trading in this range for quite some time. You can see we kind of hold on this line, come back down, retest, hold on the line, come back down, retest, and then boom, boom, boom. So the first time we did this, it was a 250% pump. Second time it was a 220% pump. Third time it was a 230% pump. So we're seeing 200% pumps almost every time we revisit this channel. So I just opened an ENS trade. I might add some position to it. You can always just put your stop loss down below, I don't know, $13 or something, which would be a big loss. You know, just don't use a lot of leverage if you're doing it that way. Otherwise, you could just put it, you know, maybe just right down here, maybe like a 15 or 17%. Now, if you're using 3x leverage, that's, you know, almost 100% loss. That's a 60% loss. However, the upside target is, you know, whatever, 130 times 3, that's, you know, whatever, 360% gain. So, you know, the risk to reward is pretty large for ENS. Just use a small position if you do want to open a trade. I have my trade open, and I think that's a good one. Another potential is DOT, which is kind of just hanging out here at the bottom of the channel as well, right? So DOT is another one that has an ETF coming. You know, it's got at least 140% to go to the upside, much larger, right? In previous bull markets, I mean, we saw like a $60 DOT or something. Yeah, $55. So we could have possibly go all the way up there. I mean, that would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? That'd be like a 1,000% gain. So DOT is a pretty ridiculous one as well. There's a lot of altcoins right now that have just been beaten down like crazy. Another thing here is if we kind of just extend this a little bit, you can see we're back above this channel. So I think DOT is a potential target. Even Crow is back above this channel. So there's some, you know, potential there. Dogecoin is another one that has an ETF approval and is just beaten down like crazy. I mean, look at the price of Doge right now. It's down, you know, almost 60% from the top, right? So I think this one has the potential. Again, this one has an ETF approval coming as well. So if it can break above this, you know, 21 cents and start moving up, I mean, we have a lot. I mean, you got 100% just to get back to the top. TON coin is another one that's just been beaten down for a while. I just opened a trade on this one just because the price is, you know, back to like literally March of 2024 levels. So basically like the beginning of this mini little crypto cycle. So this is also 150% to the top. So a lot going on. Bitcoin Cash, I missed this trade. I had this line here and I missed this trade. I should have taken, I should have had a limit order down here about 270 because that'd be about a 50% gain already. And you know, Bitcoin Cash is kind of a weird one, but it does seem to do decently well. You know, we got at least 150% just to get back to those April pricing. And if you know, zoom out a little bit, right, and the last top was all the way up here at almost $1,600. So it's kind of a weird one. It's like a kind of like a dead dino coin, but you know, is what it is. So we'll see what happens here. I'm looking forward to some big pumps tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe we'll get some big dumps and then some big pumps. Maybe we'll get nothing. Maybe it'll be a straight up nothing burger. Who knows? Another thing is Litecoin versus Bitcoin. We have this here, and almost every time we come down to this area, we see a nice big pump to the top, so about a 30%er. ENS is kind of saying similar things. As I was showing those 3 pumps, look at this. I mean, every time, so ENS could drop a little bit more. It's dropped a couple times, but every time ENS has hit this line, we've seen a nice little rocket ship up about, you know, 200, 180, and 180%. So maybe potential for a little bit of downside, or maybe we just pump from here. Depends on what happens tomorrow. Yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it. Just want to talk about some altcoins, what I think is gonna happen here tomorrow. I think we get maybe a nothing burger and a little bit of a dump and then a pump. I don't know. I'm not fully sold that it's gonna be amazing tomorrow. There is a lot of really interesting people coming. Let me find that guest list for you. All right, here we go. Cointelegraph. Let's see what we got going on. So we got Michael Saylor, David Bailey, CEO of Bitcoin Magazine, Matt Huang, Paradigm. I don't even know what that is. JP Richardson, Exodus. A bunch of people here. Multi-Coin Capital, Trump-linked World Liberty. Okay, Zach. Okay, all right. Co-founder of Chainlink, Coinbase, Robinhood, Kraken, Crypto.com. CEO of Ripple, even Mr. Garlic House is coming here. We got Bo Hines. This is the White House kind of crypto team that they have going on. Some other people here potentially. And what do we got? Unconfirmed, Kathy Wood, Vitalik, Charles Hoskins, Cardano. Yeah, so we got a big list of people. I'm going to be really super bearish news. No Litecoin CEO, because we don't have a Litecoin CEO. But yeah, I wish he would have mentioned Litecoin. That would have been pretty sweet. I'm still really bullish on Litecoin in terms of like reserve currencies. I think it should be Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and then basically nothing else. Not even Ethereum, honestly. I think if you want to store a value, you want something with a low cap in the max amount of coins. Personally, I would, if I was making one, it'd be like, I don't even know, 95% Bitcoin, 5% Litecoin maybe, for a strategic reserve. Now, the only reason I would add XRP to the strategic reserve is if I got it free from Ripple and they just gave me a bunch of escrow, then I would add it. But I feel like to buy XRP right now after doing this massive run up, right? So I was buying XRP for 50 cents, right? And now we're at 280. But if we zoom out, you can see XRP is basically at all-time highs. So there's a lot of risk for downside. We could see an easy 80-90% drop. And I don't think there's that much risk for upside. You know, maybe we'll hit $5, 90% up, maybe. So I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts on the reserve. That's pretty much everything for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Feel free to use the link below if you want to sign up for Bitunix. There's a trading competition on BYDFi, and there's a link for BTCC. Feel free to try those out. Huge fan of Bitunix, though. You can basically store a bunch of different assets on here and then trade against those as margin. So that's pretty cool. I'm a big fan of that. They're going to add more and more coins. I hope they add Litecoin soon so I can move a lot of my Litecoin over here and then trade against it. So I'm a huge fan of Bitunix. It's legal everywhere. They have, if you use my link, you get, you know, increased VIP, which reduces your fees, and you can get up to $5,500 for deposit bonuses right now. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a great day, everyone. See you guys.